All right, in this video we're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8 and 3, 1, 3, 2 review. So these are quotient rule derivatives. So h prime of x equals low d high minus, don't forget the minus, high d low times the chain rule, okay, and then don't forget the bottom part, all over low squared. So it's going to end up being not third, but sixth. Okay. All right. So what we're going to look at first is we have rule of 3. So that means because I have this, this, and this, I can factor them out. Okay, so let's get rid of those marks, but that's what I wanted to draw your attention to. You have to do rule of 3 before you can factor and cancel. So that's the key part. In here you do some factoring and then some factoring and canceling, and you've got to know when you're doing which procedure. So in terms of the 2x plus 3's, the highest power they have in common is to the squared. So I'm pulling that out of both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so now let's get the numerator back. So I pulled out a squared. I have a cubed 2x. So I'm going to put 2x times 2x plus 3. Then bring the operation down. And now we're going to figure out what's going on over here. So I have a negative. I pulled out the 2x plus 3 squared. So combine the 2, the 3, and the x squared, and you get minus 6x squared. All over, okay, you have a squared out there. You need a 6. So that means this has to be a 4. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 2x to the 2x and the 3, and then subtract the 6x and clean that up. I'm also going to get rid of this because that's a fancy 1 and that cancels and it's gone. Okay, it doesn't stay in your problem. Cancel and it's gone. All right, in the numerator, I have left 4x squared plus 6x minus 6x squared all over 2x plus 3 to the 4th. Okay, we can still keep going. All right, this is going to equal negative 2x squared plus 6x over 2x plus 3 to the 4th. I can factor out a 2 and an x. So that's going to give me negative x plus a 3 all over 2x plus 3 to the 4th. Okay, so we are done. It's in the nicest form you can get it in. I would just go back and just make sure that all your numbers look good and you're good to go. So this is the best form. If they ask you what the roots are, or where this equals 0, whereas the slope equals to 0, you would say at x is 0 and at x is 3. And you could not say it if you were still in the first step. With the numbers the way they were in the first step, you cannot pull out any information about your numerator. When you get down to this last step, you have a lot of options open to you because your number is simpler to deal with. So let's go on. We'll do page number 6 on the next page. Okay, here's number 6, another quotient. So g prime of x equals low d high minus, so memorize these formulas correctly, high d low times the chain rule inside all over the denominator squared. So it went from 4 to 8. Okay, so once again, we're going to have a rule of 3. So do you see it? So you're going to have 1, 2, and 3. So I can factor and cancel. That's what that means. All right, so let's get to it. So g prime of x equals, so the highest power I can have in common is x squared plus 1 to the third. So pull out that same power from both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so let's start to get our numerator back. Okay, and also sometimes I just quickly put down the denominator so I don't forget it. Okay, so I factored out a power of 3. I need one more power, so here I'll continue doing it the way I was. This is what I need. This is what I have. So I'm going to need to put a 3x squared here and an x squared plus 1. Okay, so that gets that one back. Then the next thing, I'm going to close that paren, sorry. Paren's closed. The next step is to bring the operation down. I have this and I need that. So I don't need any more powers of x squared plus 1. I'm going to combine what I have outside. So that's 8x to the 4th. So minus 8x to the 4th power. Okay, do I need anything else? I don't believe so. Okay, so continuing, when I factored out the numerator and the denominator, that is gone from my problem. So I'm not going to write that down on the next line. So let's continue with where I left off. Let's distribute. So looking at the numerator, I have 3x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 8x to the 4th. Okay, so is that right? Let's see. Yep, it looks good. All over x squared plus 1 to the 5th. And I can combine some things now. So g prime of x equals negative 5x to the 4th plus 3x squared over x squared plus 1 to the 5th. And I can factor x squared out of the numerator, and I would get negative 5x squared plus 3, still over x squared plus 1 to the 5th. Okay, so that is your best answer. All right, turn into 7. I have f prime of x equals low d high, so that's going to be 2 times x squared minus 9x, and then times x minus, 2x. Let me go back. Okay, minus that derivative, so 2x minus 9. So far I've done low d high, and then minus high. So I'm going to probably come down here. X squared minus 9x squared, d low. So 3 times x minus 3 squared times 1. So we're okay there. All over x minus 3 to the 6th. Okay, so f prime of x equals, okay, we have the rule of 3 again. Okay, so where are they? We have this, and that's 1. We have this, and we have this. So there's 3. So I know I can factor and cancel in that case. So I'm factoring and canceling x minus 3 squared from both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so now we want this piece right here back, and we have this. So what I'm going to say is pull out the 2. I need another x minus 3. I need an x squared minus 9x, and I need a 2x minus 9. Okay, so then let's move on to the other piece. I now need this back, and I have this. So that's going to be minus, and I'm going to have no more of those, so just, I could probably fit it up here, so let me put it over here, minus 3 times x squared minus 9x squared, and then I'm going to make that all over x minus 3 to the 4th. Okay, that goes, and let's try to do a little factoring. So in the numerator, what do I have in common? Looks like I have an x squared minus 9x in common. So pull out the x squared minus 9x. And then I'm going to still need a 2 times x minus 3 times 2x minus 9. That is to get the first piece back. Okay, so now I'm going to get the second piece back. So looking at this, if I pulled out an x squared minus 9x, I need the subtraction sign. I need one of these, x squared minus 9x, and then I'm going to need a 3, and I'm going to put the 3 in front. So let me just erase that a little bit, make this a little bit smaller, and put the 3 right here, and that's done. Okay, so we know that I could go back and try to clean things up a little bit more. So copying what I've done so far, x squared minus 9x. Okay, so then what do we have? So I'm going to introduce the paren. Let's combine these terms. So I'm going to put a 2 out here still, and then I'm going to put another little paren, and then that's going to be 2x squared minus 6x minus 9x plus 27, okay, and then minus 3x squared, careful here, plus 27x. Okay, so let's continue to clean this up. Okay, so let me see what we have. All right, so I guess I'll distribute that 2 and then really be able to combine things. So this is going to be 4x squared minus 12x minus 18x plus 27 minus 3x squared plus 27x. All right, one more step. So this is going to still equal x squared minus 9x. Do the highest power first. So that's going to give me just a single x squared. I just combined this and this. Okay, so then I have negative 30, it looks like. Negative 30x plus 27x gives me negative 3x. So I took care of this, and this, and now plus 27, and we are done. Okay, so that's that problem. I'm just looking things over, making sure it looks okay. Let's go on to question 8. Okay, one thing before I go on, I forgot to put the denominator with this. So I'm going to put a bracket, and then here it is, x minus 3 to the 4th. So I should have put it under each one as I went, but with the spacing I didn't. So know that your answer has x minus 3 to the 4th in its denominator. Okay, so now we'll go on to question 8. Okay, one more issue. So back over here, this should have been a 54. That means this is a 54. Okay, and that means that one more place, this right here is a 54. Okay, this is why it's always important to make sure your work seems reasonable. Okay, so that matches everything else I've had. That's a plus, and all divided by x minus 3 to the 4. Okay, so finally at this point, we're going to go on. Okay, last one, g prime of x equals the following. 3x plus 4 to the 4th, that's low. D high is just 4x minus 5. Minus high, which is 2x squared minus 5x. D low, which is 4 times 3x plus 4 to the 3rd times 3 all over 3x plus 4 to the 8th. Okay, so we all probably recognize the rule of 3 again. So factor out 3x plus 4 over 3x plus 4, both raised to the 3rd. So that's a factor and cancel. Then 3x plus 4 to the 5th is on the bottom. And the top, I have the 3rd power. I need one more power. So 3x plus 4. And then I still need the 4x minus 5. Okay, then I need 4 times 3 is 12 times 2x squared minus 5x. Okay, so that's good. So now let's see what we have. Okay, so there's a paren here. All right, so we're good. Okay, so g prime of x equals, okay, I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to say we're going to get rid of this because it cancels. Do the foiling on the top, and I get 12x squared plus, so first outer, that's going to make that a minus, okay, minus 15x, inner is plus 16x, last is minus 20. Okay, then minus 24x squared, very carefully, plus 60x all over 3x plus 4 to the 5th. Okay, this last step, we're going to combine like terms in the numerator. So let's do the x squares first. So a positive 12x squared and a negative 24x squared gives me a negative 12x squared. Let's do the x's next. Okay, so I have a positive 16 and a negative 15. That gives me a 1. And then I have another positive 24 there. So let me see here. Oh, excuse me. I have a 60. Okay, so I said this was 1. And then I'm going to have to add the 1 to the 60. So that ends up being plus 61x. Right? So I took care of this and this and this. And then minus 20 all over 3x plus 4 to the 5th. So take a moment to make sure that that looks good. So I have that. 61. Yep, all looks good to me. Okay, so that's our final answer, and that ends the quotient rule practice. And then we'll go on. There's more problems to do, but that's the end of this video.